Yo, yo, what is up, everybody? All right, it is Wednesday. Welcome. As you can hear probably because the echo, as you can see behind me, I am in our San Diego office. We are in La Jolla, right on the beach. I am also live right this very moment on Facebook in our Smart Academy group. So for those of you who are watching this recording, every single Wednesday I do these calls live, but at the same moment, I'm coming to you live at Facebook on a live stream on our Smart Academy. So that way we are surrounding you with knowledge and that we are giving you everything we can to make you as successful as possible. For those of you on Facebook Live, obviously you will not be seeing the screens and the PowerPoints that we have here, but we will make sure that the entire video gets uploaded to the Smart Academy Facebook group, so you eventually will be able to see it. But better to hear me and understand me and to be able to at least listen to what I have to say than to not get the information at all. And for those of you who are live, what is up? As always, I am Justin Colby here for you on Wednesday Wisdoms with myself, yours truly, Justin Colby. People are still piling onto this call, which is awesome. People are joining us on Facebook Live. What's up, Raymond? What's going on, stud? So very excited for all of that to be happening right now. Monica, what's up? There's just so many people, and Debbie and Mark and Andrew, and I see you guys all. So this is awesome. We are finally, with all my technological difficulties, starting to rock and roll here with these Wednesday calls. Obviously, as you can see, we have new looks on slides, and I'm down here in La Jolla, right on the beach, and our office is in San Diego, which is always fun. We have our Boardroom Elite Masterminds coming up tomorrow and Friday. They are here. It is a 2-day, all-day experience with myself and Kent and Sean Terry. So we're very excited for those students who will be joining us. Monday and Tuesday next week, we will actually have our Boardroom Mastermind, which is an all-day event, or a 2-day event with myself, Eddie Rosefield, and others. So very excited about this, guys. We are live coming at you. What's up, Eddie? Here in Facebook and on our GoToMeeting. If you guys aren't attending the Monday Mindset Calls with Pat, make sure you're attending them. He also will be doing the Facebook Live as well as live here on the GoToWebinars. So today, guys, I'm going to jump into a new conversation. I did a very long series about overcoming objections with sellers, which is very, very important. I think I did roughly 16 objections that you guys were able to see and overcome, and I gave you, how you can overcome them. And so today, I want to jump into the 5 types of sellers. There's going to be 5 types of sellers, right? And there's the way that I look at this is I kind of took my own spin on the real estate industry versus sales in general. I also took account personality traits, right? So for those of you who are good in business, who understand people, who study and are big students about sales and business and personality traits, there are personality traits that you would hear about, right? So there are tests like the DISC test, or there are other tests like a color-coded test, right? So A type of personalities would be represented like with the color of red, right? So they're the hardcore, in-your-face, salesy, get to the point, don't BS me, who cares about a relationship, tell me how much it costs, right? That would be a red personality, an A-type personality, a Wall Street personality. There are more of the green personalities. Those are typically like engineers, accountants, people who really are kind of overthinkers. They want to know absolutely every detail all the way down to the socks, like from A to Z, very detail-oriented. That would be somewhat of a green personality. Blue personalities, right? That's kind of like myself. Very fun, gregarious, outgoing, not so worried about every single detail. They're more of a kind of let's just go, fly by the seat of your pants, ready to go. Don't have to overthink everything. They just kind of go with it, right? So I took a combination of a lot of those different type of categories, whether it be in business and sales, just personality traits in general, and I brought up 5 different seller types that you're going to experience as you guys are going along, and I'm going to make a series out of this, and it's going to be all kind of composed into a series regarding negotiating, sales, building rapport, building a relationship, you know, kind of the component that a lot of you guys I don't think take too seriously. And I only say that because it took us a long time for us to take it seriously. So I know sitting in your seats maybe is something that is secondary because you haven't spoken to a seller yet. Maybe it's something that you haven't really thought of yet because you just got your mail out, right? So you haven't taken it to that level of you need to, you know, really be looking at, you know, how to speak to people and what type of sellers are you going to come across. So I'm going to start here, and obviously these trainings are going to be consistent every single week, but I'm going to put this together as kind of a overarching package of sales and negotiating and following up and systemizing how you're doing this and how to get a notch up on your competition, right? How do you beat them to the punch? How do you get the deal when they couldn't get the deal, right? And you know, I'll come up with kind of a term of a series. Right now I haven't thought of it, but really it's, for lack of a better term, maybe the sales series, and there'll be different components of it, right? And we ourselves in our business right now are actually going through a major push to ingrain this into our own team, to really say, why are we not getting this deal but our friend John got the deal, or you know, why did they get to the house before you, and things of that nature, to really ingrain how important it is to make sure you understand you are selling these prospects, and these prospects happen to be sellers of their own home, of their property. You are selling them on why they should choose you to buy their home. That is what you're doing. And the more ammunition you go into these conversations with, the more, you know, again, the last series was about overcoming objections. Now it's about knowing what type of person and or seller this is, knowing your clientele, right? Having all these little bullets to be able to bring into this is really going to help you, right? And so there's going to be several components of this series. Again, I don't have a good title for the series right now. I'm just going to, for the time being, name it the Sales Series, for lack of a better name right now. But this is going to be very, very crucial to your success, because this is that component where I would argue a lot of people don't get right and they're out of the business in 6 months, right? They're out of the business in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, within a year, right? They might get a deal, they might get a low-hanging fruit, but they don't really hone in their craft. They're really not trying to systemize and build out a true business, and part of this business will be the types of sellers. So I'll start now. Again, for you guys on Facebook Live, I know you guys can't see my slides. It's better to at least be able to hear me and see me and follow me. And we record these, right? So the actual recording of this video will also be posted to our Facebook group, so don't fear, you will absolutely be able to see the slides. Also, these are always recorded each and every week that we put up on our weekly Wednesday Wisdoms on Smart Academy. So guys, don't worry if you are a part of the live group right now, which I see you, Steve. You will get access to these slides. So I'm going to jump into the slides. The first motivated seller, or at least the seller type, would be what we consider to be a motivated seller, right? Or a needy seller. There is a need that they have. There is a motivation that they have. Now, a lot of times we as the coaches talk about financial motivation, and that would probably be the #1 motivation that we're trying to look for, is to see if we can find a financial motivation that they need to sell right now, they need to close in 7 days, they need to sell us the property, so here's your offer, we can get it done for you, right? So we're a lot of times looking for the financial motivation. Now, what I don't want you doing is always thinking that is someone's motivation. A lot of times there are other motivating factors, and there are many of them, right? So I didn't choose to list it here because we always are looking initially for that financial motivation, but that is not always the only motivation. Very rarely is it always the motivation, or at least the key motivation. So you need to go into these conversations, you need to go into these meetings with a understanding, or I guess the best way to say this is going in there trying to find the motivation. And it isn't always financial. So maybe it is a death in the family. Maybe they're moving because they got relocated from work. Maybe they're going through a divorce. Maybe it is financial. Maybe they're just, fell down on their luck. They have health issues. They got a bunch of medical bills piling up. We've seen it all, right? Maybe their motivation, their need, is they need assisted living care. And they can no longer live alone, and that's their need. They need to do this now. They need to go get the money so they can move into an assisted living care. These are financial, or these are motivations that aren't just financial, but are motivations nonetheless, and you need to find that. They are needy, right? They are motivated, and so that's where you need to find the motivation. How do you do that? Back to question-based selling, which you hear a lot. What's up, Jason? Which you hear a lot about is question-based selling. Again, if this is going to be what I call right this second the selling series or the sales series, you need to do a good job of asking the right questions. Find out what they need. What is their motivation so that you can be a solution to all of their issues, to all of their needs, to all of their motivations. Monica, what's up? You're very welcome. Right? So the first type I'm talking about is a motivated seller, right? They have a need, they have a motivation. The second type of seller is what I, again, these are in quotes, these are kind of my terms, the best price seller, right? The best price seller. These can be bargain hunters, negotiators. Those are the people who want to negotiate with you. They want to get the best deal. They want to beat you, right? These are those type of people. They're the same type of people that go shopping at flea markets and negotiate constantly. They'll go into Macy's, for God's sakes, or Nordstrom's, or Neiman Marcus, and they'll negotiate. Oh, well, can I get 10% off on this, or 20? Right? That's the next type of seller. Is they called you, but they won't do the deal unless they feel like they're winning. They feel like they're getting the best number they can out of you. They feel like they won the negotiation, right? And so it's up to you to not only find the motivation, right? So again, these somewhat blend into each other, right, to a certain extent. But this is what I deem is the best price. You walk into the seller, or you're on the phone with the seller, and you're saying, listen, I'm very interested in your property. It sounds like you're very interested to sell, so let's get to it, right? What are we talking about here, right? And then numbers become a very big factor of your conversation in these type of situations when dealing with this type of seller, okay? So could a motivated seller also be a best price seller? Absolutely, right? They're interchangeable, as I just mentioned. And so you need to go in there understanding that numbers are the key to this person. It's not, they need help moving. It's not that they need to, they need assisted living. It's not that they're going through a divorce. That this is the person who wants to negotiate with you. They want to beat you. They want to get the best deal. They want to get the best price. That's who these people are, right? That's the type of seller you're dealing with. So you need to go into that with the idea and with the knowledge of, okay, this person is going to be all about numbers. They're going to be all about negotiating with me. They're going to try to get the best deal and swindle and move and shake and, bob and weave and everything that negotiators do, right? My aunt, as funny as it is, she runs a very successful business, but she is more in the spiritual world. And one of the things that I find to be so quirky about her is she is one hell of a negotiator. She lives in this space of spirituality, and that's who she is, and she has a great business with that. And motivation, right, and helping people see the light, so to speak. And she runs a very successful business, and she comes from a place of, service to people. But she's an unbelievable negotiator. She would be like a best price seller, right? If she would call me because she got my mailer, she would be the first person talking numbers. I'm not selling this for 50 cents on the dollar, right? We've all heard it before. That is the best price seller, right? They're going to say, I'm going to get every ounce of every nickel out of this home. I've spent 20 years here, and I've put in however much money into the home, and I know it's worth top dollar, and I'm going to get it, right? That's who we're talking about, right? So that's the best price seller. The third type of seller is what I call the fed up seller, right? They're fed up. They're throwing their hands in the air. They're over it, right? They're tired of it. They're over it. They're just done with it. These are people that might own a rental property, right? These are people that might have a home that keeps breaking down on them, right? The roof is leaking. The pool needs to be worked. Their AC is going out. You know, their water heater keeps breaking. All of these, I'm just over it. I'm just frustrated with the house. It's old. It always needs work. I'm putting too much money into the home. I'm not going to get my money out. I just need to sell, right? That's what I call the fed up seller, right? I just need to sell. Now, it doesn't mean they're not going to try to get the best price out of you, but that's the type of people that's the type of seller that you're handling. So you need to handle that appropriately. Again, I'm going to make this a series, right? And I'm going to teach you how to handle different types of sellers. And I'm not saying these are the only 5 types of sellers you're going to come across. I'm not limiting this to 5, right? This is there are many types of sellers, but predominantly most sellers are going to fall in these 5 categories. And through future training, I'm going to teach you how to negotiate with them and talk to them and build a rapport and sell them and follow up with them. And again, it's going to be part of the sales series. So. Can a fed-up seller also be a highly motivated seller? 100%, right? If you have a seller who owns a rental property that keeps breaking down, they need to do the roof, their AC, this, that, and the other, their tenants are constantly complaining about a broken toilet or whatever, they can have high motivation, right? They might have a need. I need out of this right now because it's not making me money, it's costing me money, and I can't afford it. So again, these types of sellers can start to blend into each other. And you know, the fed-up seller is someone that we love in our business. We love the fed-up sellers. The sellers that, whether they live in the property, whether they rent the property, whether it's a vacant property, they're just fed up. They are just over it. They're over the whole thing. You know, we had a very good example of a fed-up seller was they owned a property that they inherited, that they owned with their brothers and sisters, and they got the mail and gave us a call and said, I'm over working with my brother and sisters. You know, it's been hurting our relationship. Our relationship has changed over this house, over the death of our parents and whatnot, and you know, the money that's come in and the rental properties that they owned, and I'm just done with it. I don't want to work or be in business with my family. That's not what it's about, right? So their motivation was very extreme because it was, I'm over it, I'm done, I'm out, just buy the property. Now, we also had to get a signature from at least one other family member, right, one other sibling based around that they all owned the home and the trust, but the motivation was they were fed up. They were done. They didn't care about the money, right? I'll give you another one. A family friend of mine called in. He lives in, I want to say he was in Chicago, and he also was going through this. His wife's mother just passed, and he basically was the executor of her will, and so he had to make a decision. He was just, you know, all of his wife's siblings were coming after the home. They wanted to live in it, they wanted to sell it and make a big profit, they wanted to rehab it, they wanted to do, and he was over it. He was fed up. He wanted nothing to do with his wife's siblings. He didn't even know how he was the executor of the will. He needed it to be sold, to be done with it, to give everyone their money and be out. So he was another great example of a fed-up seller. I don't care anymore. I don't want to deal with it. I don't care about the money. I don't care about this, that, and the other. I just want out. I'm fed up, right? So you will come across these type of sellers. The fourth type of seller I'll talk to you guys about today is the why not seller, right? Why not? These are the type of sellers that seem like it's the right thing to do. I got your letter and I figured let's see what you have to say, right? This seems like the right thing to do. I don't have a ton of motivation, but hey, I got your letter. Let's see what you have to say. What do you got for me, right? These are the why not, right? They don't have a huge motivation, but if you do several things, such as build rapport, if you show them the advantages of selling their home to you, if you prove that you are worth their home, right, their decision, that you're the person to sell to, and you're the person to sell to now, not in the future, and what are the advantages, that's the type of seller, right, where they kind of want to just know the value of their home, right? And I know a lot of us use a letter that we say, you know, in my letter I specifically say, if you're just curious about the value of the home, give us a call, right? We will help you out with the value of the home and see if there's a value there that you're interested in selling. But those people become why not sellers. They didn't really have a huge desire to sell. They didn't have a huge motivation to sell. They weren't a huge needy or motivated seller. They weren't a best price seller. They weren't a fed up seller. They were a why not seller. Why not? Almost like a how I would relate that to real life is they're like a window shopper. Kind of the people walking along the streets, going from, I'm right here on La Jolla Boulevard, right here in San Diego. I'm on La Jolla Boulevard, and there's a bunch of these little shops, right? There's little restaurants and little jewelry shops and, juice shops and surf shops and you name it, right? All along this little strip right here on La Jolla Boulevard. And I would say this type of seller is someone who also is the same type of seller walking up and down the street and just sees something in the window and buys it. Why not? I don't need it, but I like it and I'm interested, I'm going to buy it, right? Same idea here. And so that takes a very certain, very specific set of skills for you to be able to get that person to move forward with you. But they are sellers nonetheless. And lastly, guys, the fifth and final type of seller that I have here, again, these are the 5 predominant sellers. It's not the only sellers, but I pretty much group all sellers within these 5, is a seasonal seller. These are the type of people who every couple of years sell their home and move, right? They might move out of state. They might be having children and they need a bigger home. They might be, empty nesters and all their children are out to college or older and they need to downsell, or maybe they just every 4 or 5 years figure it's a good time to sell. Maybe they have a bunch of equity and this is kind of a habitual thing. This is something that they do every so often. You see this a lot in the car industry, right? I myself am a seasonal seller and or buyer, depending upon how you look at it, regarding types of sellers. As far as my car, I would say every 2 to 4 years most, I'm usually buying a new car. Same thing with these sellers, right? It might be every year, 2 years, 5 years, but they're in a seasonal type of selling. They don't necessarily always have a huge motivation. They don't always necessarily need the top dollar, but their motivation comes from, I want something new. I desire, right? And now it's up to us as the salesperson to be able to show them that we can help them attain or obtain what they want and fulfill their desire, right? So those are the 5 basic types of sellers that, for the most part, I group everybody in. There obviously can be subcategories to each one of these if you wanted to get granular with it, but these, for the most part, are all the types of sellers. Now go over them again. You have the motivated seller. These sellers have needs. They have motivation. Usually they tend to be financial, but they're not always financial, so you need to find that motivation. You have the best price seller, right? I want the best price. These are the negotiators. These are the people who want to win the battle. These, they want to get top dollar, and I beat, Justin, and I got the price I wanted, and yada, right? So those are the people who want to negotiate. They're the bargain hunters. These are the same people that go to flea markets and, try to negotiate on everything, right? Then there's the fed up seller. The fed up seller is they're over it. They're done. I don't care. Just buy my freaking property. I want nothing to do with this thing anymore. I'm just tired of it. A lot of times those are landlords that are just tired of being a landlord and having rental property. Other times that they're siblings of siblings and they just don't want to deal with the home. Other times their house is falling apart and they don't have the money and they're just over it. They don't want to keep fixing stuff in their house. They want to go buy a new house that's brand new and they're over this old house, right? They're the fed up seller. Then there's the why not seller. The why not seller seems to say, why not? Why not call this person? I just got their marketing in the mail. Why not call them? Let's see what they have to say. Maybe they'll give me an offer that I am willing to accept. I have no real motivation. I'm not super, motivated to sell, but, let's just see what they have to say. I would relate these people to like window shoppers that walk up and down streets, and then finally they see something, they just kind of jump in and buy it, right? That they're spontaneous. They work off of impulse. Why not, right? And then lastly, the seasonal seller. These are the same people who, buy a car every couple of years. They buy a new home every couple of years. They sell a home every couple of years. These are seasonal sellers, right? So maybe they need to upgrade because they have a larger family. Maybe they're downgrading because they have an empty nester. But, every couple of years there's a system to it. They have a season to it that they do the same thing, and they're always looking to sell around the same amount of time. And those are the 5 types of sellers. So, again, this is going to be a longer series. For the sake of not knowing what else to call it right now, I'm going to call it the sales series. But thank you again for joining our Wednesday. For all you Facebook Livers, make sure you're also on our calls on Monday with Pat Precourt, Motivational Monday. I'm going to be live. Justin Colby, I'm going to be live every Wednesday. See you on Facebook Live. See you guys on the live calls. I am going to take some quick questions, as I always encourage questions, to see if there are any. What's up, Dave Miller? Diane, what's up? Love the wall behind me. Hey, I do too. Debbie, can't wait. Eugene would like to be in the mastermind. What happens when you are red and green? Eugene, you like to get straight to the point. You're no BS kind of guy, but you really got to overthink everything. So there's no quick decisions on your behalf, right? So it's hard to be a red and green, Eugene. You must have a certain talent. Yes, I'm sure we can figure a way to get the PowerPoints. Again, these are recorded though, so the reality is it is kind of a pain in the butt to also send everybody the PowerPoints themselves. So again, once these are set up and you can stop and pause the slides and write your notes, that's really what I would suggest, Eugene. It is kind of an extra couple steps, and a couple extra people have to get involved to get you the PowerPoint, send it to the masses, so on and so on. So at this point, Eugene, it's better to wait till it gets uploaded into the weekly calls in Smart Academy and then take your notes as they come. All right. Can you use a snipping tool? Diane, I don't even know if that was a message for me. Diane, I don't even understand what that is. Mark, looking forward to meeting you at the mastermind. Mark, I don't know if I answered. Eugene, we will get you information about the mastermind, Eugene. It is probably the most impactful, powerful thing that we do here for our students. It is a membership to a very powerful mastermind. So I look forward to seeing you guys all there, and we'll get you some information, Eugene. I look forward to meeting you, Mark. Diane, I can use a snipping tool, to record the slides. So Diane was saying, if you want to record the slides, you can use a snipping tool. Still not 100% sure what Diane's talking about, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Steve Terry, love the 30-minute webinar Saturday with Kent. Right on, Steve. I like it. Good stuff. Well, we're going to be coming hot and heavy with more and more content with you guys, for you guys. Sorry. So be ready, Steve. It's a coming. It's a coming. All right. I got to run, guys. Again, as always, it's been a blast, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.